everyone. Hey, I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And welcome to Garrison House. Yes, we are here. We have a really, really good topic, two good topics and some fun stuff that we're going to do today. So one of the things we first want to do is welcome everybody who's watching us on our socials, on Kashmir, RTN, however you're watching us, Rumble.
Hey, RTN.
Hey, everybody.
Our new viewers. Hello, hello.
Yeah, we thank you, and we're glad to be here. Oh, I forgot, I have a graphic on the screen behind you. You see one of the topics on there. My bad, I teased you what it was. However, hey, it is what it is, and but anyway, we are glad that you are here with us today. We, like you can see, we have one. We are going to talk about current events. We are going to talk about what's going on in Minneapolis. We're going to talk about Pastor Jamal Bryant and his wife's dress. We're going to talk about our music. We even have our merch. You can see that behind us. We're going to tell you how you can get some of our merch. You know, one of my favorite cups, I have water, so I can't tip it, but one of my favorite merch is this, the Faith Over Fear. And it's a really nice mug. And we're going to tell you how you can get some of our merch. You know, you need to trust the process 7 days a week. That's behind us. So we're going to tell you how to get all this great merch. And we're starting with mugs. And, you know, mugs are fun. Now, you do go to our store. We do have a section that you go to the full store, you're more than welcome to. We are adding merch that, because she used to have a pop-up shop. So we're unloading some of her merch that's here.
Don't say that.
We're not unloading it, but we're selling her merch. Okay, I'm sorry.
He's a man. He'll understand.
We're selling her merchandise from her store. In fact, she has some right in front of me, but we won't share that here. You just go to the store and you can take a look. But anyway, we also want you to go on ahead if you feel the need. We do say you can still leave us a tip. Somebody was teasing me yesterday at church and said, we just leave you a tip. I said, yes, you can go to GarrisonHousePodcast.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom. You can gladly leave us a tip. And that'll be very helpful. That'll be nice. There's so much going on in the world today. So let's get into our next part here. We're going to talk about, recently I just had my testing done at AM Total Being Fitness. And I had a really good DEXA scan result. And they're working on my new plan. 2,400 calories is the goal. I'm like, wow. They moved me. I graduated this week to the treadmill.
They want you to stay within 2,400 calories?
Well, no, I'm going to get the whole thing. But that's what they say I'm burning. I think that's my burn.
Oh, you're burning 2,400.
Yeah, so.
They just said they're trying to get you to eat.
So I am doing much better. I mean, when I leave there, I'm hungry. But this week, since I graduated to the next tier, it's a whole different level. And normally you graduate to the next tier. Our pastor talks about it too. They add a little bit more difference to your weight training. And I come home like, ow, I'm in pain. It hurts. However, it's worth it. And he's always said, he says, oh, that was good. And I'm like, that's easy for you to say. So it's been really good. I'm moving better. I'm feeling better. So go ahead and hit them up at amtbfit.com.
Why don't you make this time saying that I am going to be committed. I am going to go do it. I still have my journey to go. I still have to go down another 30 pounds. I wanted to get down.
She's gonna get it.
By the end of this year, prayerfully. And so it's about commitment. It's about staying faithful, staying committed. And one of the things about being committed to something is also being committed to prayer. If you are faithful in at least one thing, it's just everything else stands into line, and then you're going to be faithful in the other things. So if you're in prayer, faithfully in prayer, then everything else that you do is going to be faithfully doing it too. Because then if you want to start your exercise, then as you exercise, and whether you listen to music or whether you watch TV, you have the word of the Lord going in your mind because you just got finished doing prayer, because that is what we're supposed to be committed to.
Correct. Yeah. And, like we said at the beginning of the year, be committed to something. You should be committed to, this is the new year. I know we're 11 days in, and you should already be 11 days into your fitness goals. And the fitness goals are not for 30 days. And, don't say, okay, I'm going to stop eating this. Okay. For me, it took a trainer to show me how to get myself in order, 80 pounds. And that was since I've been in the program. And so I've gone from from fat loss, and I'm gaining muscle. It's all good. So you have to be in a program because you can say, oh, I'm not losing weight, I give up, but you've been working out. But because you're not getting yourself scanned or checked, you may actually be gaining muscle, not losing, fat. So you want to really get it together. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this QR code on the screen, and you can go ahead and scan that QR code. They'll take you right to their website, and you can get all the details you want, and they will most definitely be glad to hear from you. Say you heard about it on Garrison House Podcast, and let them know they have offers for you. So anyway, we are going to move on to our next topic, and that is to hit the right button, and that's the dress controversy. Oh Lord. Yeah, now many of you I'm gonna pull up the picture, and I'm not gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up the let you see what everybody's talking about. Pastor Jamal Bryant and his wife and her dress. That was the hot topic before our next one. And at first I was like, okay, some angles it just didn't look right, but this angle came up, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's mixed. I don't. It's a mixed feeling on it. Now she did a whole thing on it on her podcast. Is Proverbs 31 still in the Bible? So that was one of the topics she did about, if you don't know Proverbs 31, read it. It's very important scripture. So she did, you did 25-minute. Wow. Yeah. Wow. I had to look past the camera.
It talks about it talks about the controversy of the dress. It talks about just the church in general. What are we supposed to be doing? As you can see here, you see Beyonce and Ice Spice and what they're wearing, the attire that they're wearing. What happens? Is appropriate versus modesty. And so I talked about the dress itself. I talked about how it was appropriate for the occasion, but however, you still got to be modest. And so it features a lot of things where I would say that it reminds me of a burlesque show dress, but she does look beautiful. I did say it in the story. She looks beautiful. She looks great in it. She has the right figure for it. Everything lined up perfectly. And that was also the problem because everything kind of went down to her neither legion area there.
Yeah,
and so everything was focusing as you go throughout her curves, it lands right there. So and I understand and people were saying she should be modest because she's a pastor. I think it is true, but the addressing that Jamal Bryant mentioned had nothing really to do about addressing the dress itself. And was it the reason? All he was doing is defending his wife wearing the dress. And it's different if you're defending your wife for wearing the dress, as opposed to saying the dress was blah, 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 instead of saying, I put it on her up, right. So that's kind of where it is.
He defended his wife. Now, what I had to do, I had to pull it up. Proverbs 31:10. It says, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil in all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also rises while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and portion to her maidens. I mean, I can read this whole thing. So go ahead and read that up, because
and it's again, you are representing the kingdom of God.
Well,
you're just not representing your husband, because we all got swooned or got roped into this world, and he's very well-known public figure. And so a lot of people probably, you just kind of got thrown into this type of world. So what are you trying to say? And during the speech, am I wearing, I wear many hats.
Right.
But which one are you representing? God should be the leader, the head of your life. God should be the one who is instructing you and leading you. Right. And so you don't want your good evil spoken of. So that's kind of also one of the things that we have to remember. Yes, you wear many hats. Yes, the occasion was not a church occasion.
No.
Yes, the dress was appropriate for the occasion, but who are you saying? Who are you representing? Are you representing your husband and that's it? Or are you representing the kingdom of God and the people of God that you are set under? Or you're not set under, but you're over.
Right, because here it says Proverbs 31:25, strength and honor are in her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. So some people are, I'm gonna pull that up. Some people are just really taking this. I mean, like she said, it is the way it's coming down. And I noticed that. I was like, wow, it would been, I think that's where a lot of people are having the focus, how it comes down. I didn't see that at first, how the pattern comes in.
Even the one that what's her name? Halle Berry wore when she won her first Oscar. That one was better, but it was also Halle Berry. So it wasn't. It's just the point is it gave you just enough where it showed everything that they needed to show, and then at the bottom is that scoop. It's a beautiful dress. I think it's very beautiful. It is a very beautiful dress, but it was not appropriate for her as a woman of God. Yes, you are a woman of God. That should be the primary thing. You should have don't let your evil, again, as I was saying, good let your evil speaking of. And one of the scriptures I was going to, if you go into my thing, I've talked about Romans 12:1.
Is this the dress you're talking about for Halle?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to get my iPad here to be nice, so you're just gonna have to see some of this stuff. But go ahead and get that scripture.
Yeah. So Romans 12:1. That was. I mean, even though, but yeah, it wasn't. How far low? Right. Go down to.
She didn't have the. I think honestly, if she would have had it more like Hallie's, people would have been like, "Oh,
okay." I mean, even yeah, but
I see the controversy now. Like,
oh. And at the time when I mean, that was a beautiful. I like the dress they had, but I wouldn't wear it myself. But that's because I just don't. My thing is, I just don't want people sitting there and gawking at me. Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Go into inside the pink box on YouTube. Mm-hmm. You'll see, and it's your little box that says inside a pink box, and go there, and you can see the whole message I had. And I also talked about the church itself. Somebody mentioned how Jamal Bryant, his church is not really what you expect, really, because most of the time we don't even know what he'd be preaching half the time, because all we know what we see on the internet, what people mention that he spoke about this or he said this, because all we know nowadays he's been
an activist past.
Right. He's been talking about the worldly things, and he spent a whole message on the fact that his wife was married wearing this particular dress.
And that didn't make no sense to me.
A whole service. He wrapped a whole service around it.
And he doubled down, tripled down. It's like, man, look,
right.
Give us the word. You address it and keep it moving. You didn't need to address it and just keep hammering.
And I mean, it's like, we didn't expect an apology. Well, technically, we probably wouldn't even expect anything for him to say. He could have just left it alone and just talk and said it was just a dress. But the trolls would have just let it alone. But no, he had to come back on Sunday, and now he gave everybody else something more to talk about. Now your wife has even been more prevalent on these social platforms, even more, because you decided to keep it going, and now everybody else is still going to keep it going. Because my focus was really about the modesty of the Proverbs 31 woman. Mm-hmm. That's where my focus was. She wears appropriateness in clothing when she goes to church. She wears the appropriate clothing. I was going to bring up a bustier. That's kind of what it reminds me of, a bustier that I got that I bought, but I forgot to bring it up, and it's almost exactly like that. Hey, maybe I could sell it to you guys. I bought it, and the size was too small, so that's the reason I never wore it. But so that's kind of what reminds me of, like you talking about those bustiers you had to wear. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
It looks like long
I
break.
think the issue is that he kept doubling down on it. He kept saying, "I bought the dress," and okay, you know how many pastors buy their wives
Clothing.
clothes, and how many wives buy their pastor husband clothes. It don't matter that you bought it. I mean, frankly, I was probably a couple. That was not a cheap dress. I'm just gonna put that out there. Now I don't know how much it costs.
No, I mean, she probably did get people to buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, probably sold or try to find a knockoff. That's all it really
Right.
is. People probably were trying to find it.
So now, right. So the designer,
somebody else could wear it, but it's not appropriate. You shouldn't be wearing stuff like that, honey.
But the designer who designed it is got cred now. It's like you had a first lady wear your dress, and it was controversy. So whoever designed it, it could be somebody who it had to be designed. It wasn't. I'm quite sure that was not off the shelf.
Right, that's what I was saying.
It was not off the rack.
It was not a rack. They actually had to fit it for her. Don't put it back up. Don't put it back up.
Okay, I'll take it down. So yeah, that was fitted for her. So at the end of the day, some designer, they got their cred. And also her brand raised up. So one thing people understand is controversy raises your brand on social media. So the people who are going to defend you are going to be in your corner. So if you have a social media platform, you'll see growth. And that's what this does. So that's the whole point behind it. In the background, you're thinking, oh, this. But controversy generates revenue. And so the more controversy you have, especially if you're a monetized person, you're going to get paid. Your revenue is going to go up because now it's controversy. Your brand's going to go up, especially in that situation with the dress. Of course, her brand is going to go up, and it's not going to be any questions about her brand. People who love it are like, who designed it? So people are going to go out and find a designer. Designer's going to benefit. She's benefiting from wearing it. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't have been a whole message on it. That's my point.
And that's the thing is, you shouldn't have done a whole message. Address it and move on. And then you started talking. Then you started talking the side of your head, shake it and show me what you were.
Yeah,
So he started talking mess and on God's sacred altar.
That's not uncommon where he would do that. No, I mean he's still technically a newlywed,
right? Because I think he only been married for a year.
He's still technically a newlywed. So I mean, he want to show his wife off. Hey, he letting people know she a woman. So I'm just saying. Right. But anyway, before I start talking outside my head, we are going to move on to our next one here. We're moving through this pretty fast here today. Minneapolis under siege. Oh my goodness. If you have not been following what's going on in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's a mess. It is a mess. There's so much going on there. We don't have any, let's see, do you want to show that? There's no cussing, is it?
It is better. I don't put the audio on.
Well, I'm going to try to mute her audio. There we go. And we're going to bring that in.
This is, if you don't know, this is the commander, ICE commander Bovino. So he is commanding over the ICE agents in wherever they are. So right now he is in Minneapolis. Of course, that's where he is. He wasn't there at first. I think he was in Chicago or something. And so when the shooting happened, he went to Minneapolis. So this is where he was. This is Minneapolis, and this is about ready to take down. It was. I don't think he was arresting him or anything, but I think because of he was. The guy was taunting and all up in his face and whatever. I don't know why he took him down, but he's about ready to take this one of the cart people down. And it reminded me. I said, oh, so that's what happened, because all we saw was a couple of days ago was just the takedown. This is behind the scenes of the takedown, and this is when he actually took him down. Somebody said it was Home Depot. No, it was Target. He was at Target, and so that's what happened. This is
and what's interesting, he's in, right, you can't see the big red Target balls. What's so interesting is that he is the head of the department, and he's wearing.
He's about ready to come out.
He is literally literally wearing his firearm, and he's a cabinet member. So he's out there in the field, which is interesting because most of these people, when they have cabinet positions, they never went out. They're administrative. They send out their undersecretary, but he's actually out there in the field. He's performing the arrest. He's doing his job. Now, the problem is this young lady, her last name, Miss Good, she was shot. And, you've seen the video. I don't really want to show the video.
No.
And I've been looking at several angles, what's going on. And the media, like some people I follow, they said the same thing. The media is not telling you the whole story. Yes, and I agree with some of the people. She aimed the car at him. And however, I'm one of those on the side. It's like, why were you as an officer standing in front of the car? That's just me. I'm not a police officer. I don't know police procedures. And I've listened to a couple people. I've listened to a former mobster
it's like he was standing on the side because
well, for once,
I mean, look. It's easy for us to commentate sitting in the background, sitting on our couch, but it's hard if you're in a fast, heart pulsing situation. So that's you're having to react in seconds. We had time to review the video. We had time to look at the video. We had time to even see what was going on in the video. It's not what he did. They even Stephen A. Smith, whoever likes me, don't like him, whatever. He in his training, he did what he's supposed to have done as training wise.
Right.
It's more about moral. It's more about morality. Moral. Was it humanly? Should he have? That's the question.
Right.
So we're all saying, yeah, well, maybe you didn't need to have to actually shoot her. But again, we are sitting in the background. We're sitting on the couch, commentating behind the scenes. Right. And everything happened in seconds. And he probably thought he was terrified for his life.
The second time.
When he was drugged. Right. So he thought so. I'm not condoning any violence. I'm not even condoning the protesters' violence because they were wrong. First of all, they were wrong to even be there in the first place. But we cannot sit there and commentate and expect automatic results when we can sit there and watch it over. Everybody had the same clip over and over again. When all he had was seconds to react. Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. That's everything.
Well, the video that just came out was his actual cell phone video where he was recording the information. Because they were recording the plates, and you look at the license plate, they weren't even from. Well, they're new to Minnesota. Now, here's what's going on. For those who don't know what's going on in Minnesota, they're like, why are all these radicals there? Well, I need to pull it up, but Minnesota has a new education program, and basically they have a class on having protests.
Minnesota, if anybody also don't know that Minneapolis, Minnesota was also the home base of the George Floyd issue. So it's like, it's to me, it's become like the purge, lawlessness. What does I say? The purge, lawlessness. I'm not saying, well, I don't know if I should say that, but it's just going in there and you're not realizing what's going on, what's happening, why is it happening, what's going on in your own city. And most of the time, these people that are there are not even from Minneapolis. They were, especially during the day, they at work. Somebody was reporting about it, and she said, "Are you getting paid?" She's like, "Yeah." Oops, I don't think he should have said that, but the reporter heard her, and she was like, "I got them on tape saying they're being getting paid." So,
well, and the issue is where all these protests is lawlessness. That's what it boils down to.
It's lawlessness.
No matter what political party you're in. For example, if the police pull me over, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna obey the commands, even if I was in the right. However, when law enforcement tells you to do something, you do it. You don't go, "Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm an American citizen."
No, get you arrested really fast. They're gonna get arrested. All you had to do is take your little ticket, and then you could fight it in court.
Right.
But no, especially if you don't have no warrants on you, then But yeah.
Well, what gets me is, and not to belittle what's going on, all y'all out there protesting for people who are not here legally, which is they're here against the law. But those people who are have warrants for parking tickets, speeding tickets.
Right.
Why aren't you standing for them?
Right.
You're not standing for people who have actual minor offenses. They have a warrant because they forgot to pay a parking ticket. Now they're facing going to jail for not paying a parking ticket.
Right.
You're standing see, like I was telling her before we started, so many of these people think they are the hero in the story. But if you watch Marvel, Thanos thought he was the hero. He thought he was the hero in the story, but he was actually the bad guy. There's so many people who believe, oh, I'm the hero. I'm standing. No, you're not the hero. You're actually, history's going to see you as the bad guy. And that's the issue we have. All you out here chasing ICE officers, agents. Did you know that it's a felony to impede in law enforcement? They're being nice to you.
Well, the issue is what you're about ready to go into, that Minneapolis is, as we just said, is lawlessness.
Right.
And it's going back to George Floyd.
Exactly.
That's where it goes. And it's tiny, and there's tiny in their hands. Just like when Trump sent the National Guard to DC. It was tying the police officers' hands because every time they develop a whole ordinance or a law in order for them not to be able to do anything in DC. So there was lawlessness going on. So that's kind of where it is.
Like you said, the purge.
The purge.
Or Hunger Games.
And right.
More of a Hunger Games
and it's
soon.
And it was like they were literally like rushing, banging on hotel windows, trying to barge into hotel doors. Mm-hmm. And it literally reminds me of, I'm not saying the situation, not saying what the act, but the situation reminds me of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
When the angel came down to tell Lot to get out of here, and those people sat there and literally was trying to bang down Lot's door or hut, I don't know, to get to the angel. That's what it was. They were like, what are you going to do when you get there? What do you expect to happen when you get in there? You're about ready to trespass in a
private business.
And banging on windows, blowing whistles, literally they were out there banging on windows.
The problem is with our society is they don't see private businesses or private property as private. They feel just like the lady where she died, they're invading the neighborhood. They can't understand what is private property. Why? Because the system has told them there really shouldn't be any private property. Everything should be public property. You have all these rights. You really don't have a lot of rights that you think you have. My favorite term is, this is a democracy. It's not. It's a constitutional republic on the federal. Your state, however, is a form of a democracy, but federally, it's not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. Let me clear the air on there. So every time I hear a politician on both sides says, we're protecting our democracy, I'm like, it cringes me because where in the Pledge of Allegiance does it say democracy? But these people are practicing lawlessness because, one, the politicians are encouraging lawlessness. How? Well, they told people that ICE agents are disappearing people. The ICE agents are evil. ICE is no law enforcement. Then
get the out of my city.
Saying get out. And then you're in one city that burned. Literally, the cops were in the building. They set the police department on fire. They ran out the building.
They chased out the police department off the streets just recently.
Scared of them.
And even the chief was talking about how corrupt the DHS was and the ICE agents were. And then when he goes on the street, they ran him off the streets. So you have nothing to stand on anymore.
They don't like you.
Nothing.
And then the police chief, like one person made a point. I think it was the former mobster I was listening to. He made a point. He said, you had on that stage, which also, can y'all please stop having the people doing sign language? Oh my gosh, it's so irritating. I mean, you can have them there. They don't need to be on camera because everybody has subtitles automatically done. But anyway, he made a point. He said that on that stage you had the mayor, the police chief, and the sheriff. I think the sheriff is a black woman. And
no, that's what you're thinking about Philadelphia, the chief of police and
no, I'm talking about the sheriff.
I don't know about the sheriff.
I think the sheriff, I think it's a black woman, is a sheriff. And he made a point. The police chief has to do what the mayor says because that's an appointed position. The sheriff in many states are elected. So in reality, the sheriff could have came up there and said, well, I hear the mayor saying, but y'all need to obey the law. And it's not unless the sheriff is part of the same political party. If the sheriff is part of the same political party, it can become a problem for the sheriff. However, technically, your sheriff is the highest law in your city. The state police, but the sheriff is the highest law in every state outside of the prosecutors because they're an elected position. For those who don't understand, the state police has some authority, but the sheriff can actually investigate the state police and correct. So if you have a problem with your local police, you contact the sheriff's department, not the state, because the sheriff is the authority. But the lawlessness is so bad.
Somebody mentioned it went beyond protesting.
Yeah.
Now, especially when they started to bang on windows, bang on doors, and trespassing,
criminal destruction,
disrupting the people's home, trying to makeshift stuff. And before we cut off on this one, this is the chief of police in Chicago. This audio.
Let me make this clear. Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them.
So, this is the chief of police come out of it, babe. This is the chief of police of Chicago. Now, we know they've been in Chicago. We know what's going on in Chicago. But this is the chief of police in Chicago. But we know that chief of police of Minneapolis, who is also a black man, he basically condoning ICE from being there because they're. So what it is that the chief of police, the mayor, and the governor are blaming ICE for the destruction because they're saying if they weren't there in the first place, this would never have happened.
Actually, it's their fault because the problem is, one thing about this whole thing that's going on in Minneapolis, it's called the policy of distraction.
Yeah.
You have political figures literally are in deep trouble.
Right.
Their trouble is so deep because of the whole scandal that's hitting. It's so bad, and
I don't even think the Democrats, because you don't hear nothing from the Democrats right now. All you know,
you're hearing the normal mouthpieces, but
you don't hear nothing from no Democrats at all. Coming up, this is a great platform right now, but you're not hearing nobody. The Democrats are not even backing this mess up.
Well, there's you have Fetterman, who's one of the most common sense Democrats.
No, I'm saying the ones who are not going, who's trying to Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer,
right.
The leaders. They're the main ones who would be outspoken when stuff like this was happening. They were outspoken in DC. They're outspoken in Chicago, but they've been quiet when it came to Minneapolis because they know they have nothing, and they don't want to be tied up. So they actually let Walsh fall his sword on his own. And they leaving Ilion out there on her own and trying to justify her own people. and she has been doing this stuff since day one. When the Palestinian protesters were out there, she still had her Somalian flags sitting up next to her office. And so now when she ain't got nobody backing her up, now she kind of trying now to go back. She went down there trying to do something.
They told her to go away.
And so she ain't got, it's like, when all this, Democrats used to be on this stuff.
Well, Democrats used to be the party of the workers and really strong for the workers. It was really this, and I tell people all the time, I say, we're independent. I say, however, this is not the Democratic Party I grew up with. This is a Democratic Party of whiners, complainers, always when it comes to Black American people who are generational Black Americans, we tend to get used. And so people say, well, we see Black people in Minneapolis. They don't consider themselves Black because they're Somalians. But then they want us to help them out. So there's a lot of things that go on within the Black community. When it comes to Democrats, we don't really have, even for example, and I tell people this, and I've told people this. I say, Detroit, for an example, we say, well, we need representation of Black individuals in DC. Our region elected 0 Black representation to DC. We have a Indian and I forgot what country Rashida's from. These are the people who represent our area where we're at. And we don't have any representation, but yet we're screaming constantly, we want representation, we want representation. But I'm not going to go into the whole political thing because there is a strategy that they use. That's some companies. Well, why do y'all get rid of Rashida? Well, the strategy they use, I'm just going to say it, is they stack the primary. So they stack it to the point where the vote splits because they know the majority of Black folk are going to vote Black, and she may win a couple Black votes over. We are a strong Arabic area where we live. We are very strong Arabic. So she's going to get that vote. But anyway, that's.
I want to go back talking about the dress.
Okay, we can do that.
And right quick.
I'll pop that graphic up.
We don't have to pop the graphic up though.
Oh, okay, I'll put our logo up.
Thank you. So this is, remember Nicki Minaj, right? Mm-hmm. We all know Nicki Minaj, right? We all know her.
Yep.
And so we know what her stance was when I think it was Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And so she went to
Turning Point. USA.
Yeah, this is Turning Point. But I think she went to speak at the National Assembly. I think that's what it was. See what she's wearing? We know she's a pop star, right? Well, Nicki Minaj is a pop star. We know what she looks like on her videos. But do you see what she's wearing? It's elegance. It's not her boobs popping out. Yes, the dress is short, but you can tell she's covering herself up.
Yeah.
So, and she looks very beautiful. She looks very elegant.
She looks businessy. And that's Erica Kirk, right?
Yeah. And you can tell, and this is what she's wearing. And she's not sitting there having her chest half out and her because she knows she's going to a public forum. And she's not trying to do a music video. So this is elegance. Mm-hmm. This is what they're wearing. I mean, this is what you should be wearing when you go to these things. And when we come back to these other pop stars, the stuff that they wear was not appropriate for the situation that they were in.
I can tell you this, though, thinking about going back to the campaign season, even certain celebrities during the Harris campaign who were appearing, the women, they were actually pretty modest because they understand their assignment. They understand there's performance, and then there's
I didn't have nothing problem. I had nothing problem with Megan Thee Stallion's performance. What you expect? This is because that's before Kamala actually had a platform to work on. So she had to. These dates were already set, so they had to bring somebody in there to cover these dates. Yeah. And she knows she ain't had no platform, so she had to spew other stuff that she ain't got nothing. But okay, she twerking on the stage. Well, all right. She's a pop star. She's performing. This is what she do. But what she wore was still appropriate. She wasn't have her chest was out. Let me see here.
I mean, honestly, and we didn't even talk about the Nicki because that was on our break period. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. People got upset because she went to TP USA. The problem I have with people in general is you guys have a problem with people who are of color Doesn't matter if they're African American, which I don't really care for that term because we are so mixed up. We had a whole conversation on that. When anybody who's of color thinks outside of the ideology that the monolithic ideology people believe in, they get upset because she spoke on something. She went to a conservative event, but who cares? She has her own. She has a right to her own opinion. You don't have to like her opinion, but don't disparage her because she says something you don't like. But anyway, okay. Was she going to a race car event? Who she thinks she is?
I think it's NASCAR.
Okay.
And she is Vegas. Was this the dress she wore? Not dress, but the outfit she's wearing is not appropriate for the occasion that she went to. It's appropriate for her because she is Beyonce and a pop star, but it wasn't appropriate for the occasion she went to. And
unless she's performing,
she was not performing.
Oh well,
she look. I mean, she literally look all these men around her. She literally cosplaying as a NASCAR driver. She thought, "Oh, I'm looking so cute." Yeah, you look cute.
Is that Danica Patrick?
You can go back and finish watching.
Is that Danica?
No, I don't know about Danica Patrick.
I think that's what she's. But Danica dressed like
it had
that
nothing to do with that. That had nothing to do with
I
it.
think it was her. She used to do the GoDaddy commercials. She
But
dressed
she never
like
dressed
that
like
for.
that.
She did it. She did some of those rebuilding ones, but that was for the commercial.
She never wore stuff like that.
I'm gonna have to pull that up.
She never wore stuff like that. If you're a model, if she was modeling, okay, we'll work with you on this. But look, you're in front of men. And then they allowed her, there was a Lewis Hamilton. I think his name is Lewis Hamilton. So they allowed her to go into the car with him to do a lap in the car. No. And you know, cars be shaking. Yeah, okay. I hope.
So this is. I hope you zipped it up. But anyway,
you know, that was inappropriate. All these men.
This is a NASCAR female driver, the appropriate way that a woman dresses. Who?
Yeah, she heavily endowed. Yeah, she heavily endowed. If you go to my YouTube, and I talked about that.
She really, and then Danica outside, so people want to see her how she, you know.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. What she's wearing.
And this is how she looks when she's, as they would say, girled up, glammed up.
Ain't nothing what she's wearing. Nothing wrong with that. What she's wearing.
Right. And
if you got to go back into church the next day and have to talk about a dress, then you know she shouldn't have worn a dress. Even if you thought the dress was fine.
You know what? There's some things in this world you don't need to talk about. And I mean, like you say, you have to go to Inside the Pink Box on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go to GarrisonHousePodcast.com, click on the link, and you can go straight to our podcast and take you right to her YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And you can watch the whole thing. In fact, I need to almost watch it. It's really a good conversation she has. Mm-hmm. And it's key. It's key to the time that we're in. Modesty. And I laughed because I told her, I said, we literally just did a whole segment before we went on our break about dress codes in the church. We literally just did a whole conversation on that with people, how we used to wear suits, how we used to wear, how now when you go to church, it's just,
whatever you want to wear.
I mean, this is pretty much, I probably wore this in church a couple times. But I work in the background, I'm not in the front.
I mean, I know it's coming, people just coming out to the street. We didn't expect you to be on, everybody got that one dress that they wear all the time. Of course we got that one dress, but one outfit you thought because you went to a cabaret and you bought this head to toe, everything's matching and everything. Okay, let's go here. Okay, let's wear it because you think that's dressed up enough to go to the service church. So, but it should at some point, if you can, once you get yourself, if you get saved that day, praise God. But afterwards, at some point, you have to realize this is not working.
Yeah.
So look, we'd rather have you throw some jeans on and a T-shirt than come in and wearing a hook'em, catch-em dress, So
thirst trap
dress. But we don't expect you to
muscle shirts because we ain't gonna talk about we did talk about the pastor with the muscle shirts. We ain't gonna say his name.
And that was different, and it's distracting away from what you're actually talking about. That's the thing. It's distracting away from what the thing is. It's like, well, what's she wearing? If she was going to the MTV or Movies Awards, she was going even she's going to Dove Awards, even if she's going to the Stellar Awards. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got a problem with that, but I think it was a gala she was going to. I mean, I don't know.
For the Bryants.
The Bryants.
I think it was UNCF. Now, she is a doctor in theology. So she's not she's an extremely, I would say she's a very intelligent woman.
I don't know about very intelligent. We don't know if she's very intelligent woman.
I was having the degrees that she has. When I read her degrees, like she got more intelligent than most of these protesters do, who are also supposedly educated. So she is.
It's like she got caught up into the whole worldly.
Well, when your ministry has a worldly mindset, which came from the original pastor, had a little worldliness, but he still had word. But then you moved the whole ministry is so worldly based. It's more activist based. It's no longer. I would consider New Birth no longer as a church for the word. I would consider more of an activist church. Church of activism, and remember this is the same pastor who held the boycott Target and people went to shop. This is the same person who wanted to do boycotts. So when you're a church that's leaning towards activism, there's somewhere in there where it's almost like you lose focus on the message of the gospel, and that's when you have the first lady. Some pastors don't do first lady, but some people do. They fall into that trap. He's the pastor. He saw that dress somewhere and he liked it. He bought it for her allegedly, and she wore it, and we're still talking about it weeks later.
I know you bought it for her.
Oh, we know you did.
So allegedly, she can get the dress that somebody bought it for her.
To be honest, I wouldn't buy that kind of dress for my wife. I'm very conscious. If I had to buy a dress,
I asked him that. I said, honey, if I would have wore something
stay at home
questionable, would you honestly
yes,
tell me? No, you may want to rethink that dress. Would you?
Yes, I said it.
I don't know, because I've been married to you for 29 years, and yet
we're into our 30th year.
Yet still though.
But you've never worn anything questionable. I mean,
no.
So why would I have to? If you came in something like that, I probably would be think so.
In the beginning, we talked about wearing. I sell lingerie, but you're not going to see me modeling in it. And even if I show it, when I was showing stuff, I do cover it up, cover certain areas up. If I'm holding it up, showing it, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna let y'all see this.
She puts a price tag on top.
Or something, or use my finger to cover up certain areas of the lingerie when I'm doing.
Some men are lustful.
They're doing stuff like that. But reason why did I sell lingerie? Because at the time, look, plus size women, they need to find themselves beauty too. And so I was focusing a lot on plus size wear.
We might as well go ahead and bring that up.
So that's the reason why I was selling lingerie at the time. And so I stopped doing it, but we're saying we do have a store, we do have merchandise. We're about ready to put back on the store because Halloween, Valentine's Day is coming up. So yes, I do have merchandise that I still like to sell back, and hopefully, you can buy it. But again, I'm not going to sit there and in order for me to sell it, I'm not going to sit there and present myself as a living model. I'm too modest about that. Even if I did have the body for it, even if I was on the beach, I'm not wearing a bikini on the beach. Even if I was wearing it, I would probably wear those swim tankies or something, because I'm not gonna sit there.
I ain't gonna let her
I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know how women do it and wearing bikinis and stuff like that.
Okay, so would you let me go out in Speedos?
No, no.
See, that's the same thing. I wouldn't be wearing a Speedo, I'm like, I wouldn't feel comfortable in it because it shows too much. It ain't what I got ain't for y'all to see.
I can't. Even watching like the divers. I'm just like,
well, they have to.
I know, but you think about it, the divers and the men swimmers and the divers and stuff now. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
But anyway,
Flash me still.
anyway, as you can see, our store right here, we have it, Garrison House, shop.garrisonhousepodcast.com takes you straight to our store. You see the merch that we have here. We have the Trusted Process mug. Let me click on that. I had to go to because I was on the other one. But they come in multiple colors. Now, if you want a green one, there's your green one. There's your red one. It looks kind of orange on it, but it's actually it's red because that's the one we have behind us.
It's red, but because of the fluorescent lights, it changed the color.
It's red, but on the screen it looks kind of orange. And so we have several. Right now we only have the 11 ounces. I know they say 15. 11 ounces this right here, which is good for a nice day cup of tea. If you want to have yourself a cup of tea, it's a nice size. If you're one of those people like me who loves the big cups, the huge mugs, we do have a 20 ounce on the way, but these are just some of the merch.
Oh, they got Cash App Afterpay.
Oh yeah, they had Cash App. We have Klarna, and I wasn't expecting that. Oops, it showed a little bit of your store. So let's go back to, we won't show that, but some of her products are in there. As you can see on here.
It's actually not too bad.
Okay, so we have direct sales stuff. It's in the wrong, but that's some of her stuff. But we have, so you go in here.
Cami that I'm going to put on the side.
You want to put it up?
Yeah, put it up. I'm going to have a cami available, putting on the site. This is going to be an action. I mean, I haven't, it's actually going to be a great deal on that one. I'm going to slide it over. Then I have these are stocking. You can wear, what wear this to? You can put like a black vest over this one and maybe a nice skirt or something like that. But those are kind of things.
And we do have the sizing charts available. So there are no refunds on anything from the lingerie side of the business. So there's no refund. So don't say it didn't fit. Oh, well, so I do take time when I'm putting the site together, making sure that all the sizes are there. I actually read the packages too and put in the exact information.
I do.
So you do know that, will it work for you?
I have shapewear.
Oh, we put that up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go.
This is limited stock, but I do have a shapewear. Women. If you are losing weight and you're still trying to get rid of that stomach bulge, and if you're in front of people, you want to make sure you got the nice little shapewear. Shapewear used to be the girdles that you used to have that suck everything in. So you really want a nice shapewear to work. What's the difference between shapewear and those waist trainers? Waist trainers actually sucks you in to train basically make your waist to make your midsection smaller. These shapers or these shapers make you a lot more slimmer. So it's not sucking you in, but it's slimming you out in order for you don't look all these bulges in these rolls that you have. Donut rolls, or what do you call them? Donut holes or donut muffin tops. The muffin top situation. So that's what this is, especially if you're going into your weight loss journey, you're losing a lot of weight. I do have bras. Bras are, look, I'm putting those bras on for $5. $5 bras. I have two different styles. We'll sell them for $5 bras. So if you want, I got those. So if you're also on your weight loss journey, if you lost about 15, 20 pounds, it's time to get a new bra. So I even say maybe every 10 pounds, but sometimes you can fluff it a little bit. But between 15 and 20 pounds, once you lose your 15 and 20 pounds, you need to get a new bra. So that way you can lift yourself up, because I kind of need a new one too, but still.
Yeah, because a lot of this stuff, we're still putting I think we said we're changing the name of her store in there. So you will be able to get in there. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have all the merch loaded and you'll be able to start ordering. Now that ships directly from us.
Yes.
Our other merch ships through our printing partner, and our printing partner. Now, anything in a print, I'm gonna tell you up right now, it's going to take between I would say 14 to 21 days to get to you, because this is custom. So this is not stuff that is just sitting on a shelf somewhere. At this time, we don't have a warehouse loaded with a whole bunch of merch. So I'm trying to pull up our next merch that we're hoping to release. Let's see if it's going to let me do it. Here we go. And so, but yeah, any of these custom items will take time to come, and you got to wait for them. And my favorite one that's coming, I think we're expecting this one this week, is our Faith Over Fear Velveteen plush blanket. I am actually excited to see how this one feels. It's not in the store for the public yet, but it comes in. I was brave. I went ahead and did the big one. So I'm excited to see how this is going to be. This product will be the next one that's getting released. And as you can see, we take a firm. It is a firm qualified after Cash App and Klarna. So you can support our podcast. There's all kinds of ways of doing it. But this one will be coming out soon. You will be able to make some of those purchases, support the podcast. And, and it's the best way of doing it. Now, we may do some things that won't be in the store. We'll talk about some things where if you give us a tip, we may hook you up with something. You never know. You give us a tip, you might get a code for a discount. We'll talk about that later. So we'll work on that. So we will offer at some point more products as the store grows. But I'm excited for the store. I'm excited for our music. We ran out of time. This is a really good program today. We didn't get to go into our music, but you can always catch our podcast on Spotify, which we talked about the music. Also, all our music, just go Raindrops on Roses Music on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere. You can get some of our latest projects. Our next project is dropping on 2/6/26, and then we're going to let y'all breathe for a while. Our next project is under development, and that's probably either going to be, now I'm looking more like next fall. Because I want these projects to breathe. But I'm excited for what's happening this year. We have a lot of stuff going on. Again, you do want to pick up one of these Faith Over Fear mugs, Hebrews 11. And actually, Unshakable Light, that's actually our single. So it's basically the Unshakable Light, the Faith Over Fear is actually from our album. So this is actually the album that is under development. And you've heard the singles, but Unshakable Light is that. But anyway, we are out of time, and we look forward to seeing you next week. I'm Darnell.
And I'm Angela.
Thanks for watching Garrison House, and go to GarrisonHousePodcast.com and support our other platforms. Make sure you hit up her platforms. All right, till next week. See
Okay, everybody say now. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, yes, seven triple. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, go, yeah. Yeah. Let's go. We stand on the word and shake it secure. Yeah, what he has spoken is settled and sure. We don't check the odds, we don't have